Business rules. Let's see the third module now. What are they? Business rules are individual elements that can be defined, delimited, and intelligibly expressed. They are entities that contain information, only declarative, and therefore they do not execute anything. For processes to know how to act, they look for the information they need in the business rules, following what has been prescribed in them. From here, we can see the Business Rules Manifesto. A class of processes is not designed to change constantly. However, there are parts in a process that change constantly. Interest rates, wage policies, working hours, discounts. Business rules are not defined in the classes of processes. They have to be defined and kept independently. However, in the classes of processes, there are rules that only affect the processes of the class. Gateways that determine where the current should flow, conditions in a form that control what the user should do, etc. There are rules that only affect the process. However, the business rules are not part of the process. The processes just consult them. Thanks to the independence of the business rules, any user can modify the rule and therefore affect hundreds of process rules. That is why it won't be necessary for a consultant to perform changes in the settings in every single process to adapt them to a new rule. Therefore, I don't have to go to change the process. I don't have to change my model, but I simply have to change the value of a rule or the content of it. When we launch the process, it will update all the new data that we have put in the rule. The business's rules change frequently and affect a lot of processes. For example, the interest rate that affects a personal loan application processes, mortgages, risk management. The process rules hardly ever change, and they only affect a unique process. For example, when the person in charge approves the request continues. If not, the process ends. That is to say, any condition of a process in a gateway, etc., when we condition a field so it triggers another, are all examples of process rules. We are going to see the nature of the rules now. On one hand, we have textual rules. They are descriptive text with clarifications. These rules always require human interpretation. They can also be instructions to follow. We can use them as instructions in the processes and also as a piece of text in any form of any process. Assignment rules are expressed as parameters to which values are assigned. We can add a value to any field. Calculation rules. They perform operations, statistics, comparisons. They can be as complicated as we wish. And lastly, we have inference rules. They have a matrix associated with columns and rows. The matrix columns are called criterion, except for the last one, which is called the result, and the row ones are qualifications of the criterion, that is to say, combinations of this criterion. For example, if A, B, and C are met, the result is 25. If only A and B are met, is 32. And if only A and C are met, the result is 44. As we can see, different combinations can be made, and depending on them, we will obtain a different result. Relation between natures. Textual rules do not allow the inclusion of other rules. They are not related to any rules. Assignment rules do not either. The values can be manually updated or from a process within an uploader system task. Calculation rules allow the inclusion of calculation, assignment, and inference rules, while the inference ones allow the inclusion of calculation and inference ones. Let's see a practical example. For this, we go to the application, My Tasks. And let's see how the rules are used. for example, the textual rule. We're going to add some instructions. So firstly, we go to my task. As we can see, I have a task here that says supervisor approves or rejects. Okay, and as we can see, we have some instructions here. Okay, so we have revise request, approve or reject, reasons for the rejection, and finish. Now, can we change the instructions without having to go to the class of processes in which we have configured how the process of the class will behave? We can do this through a textual rule. Let's see how. Let's leave this. And let's go to rules, families of records, rules. We are trying to find a textual one, so let's filter it. And supervisor instructions. Now, for example, we go to definition, and then we can see the instructions. Let's get rid of this one, for example. Let's get rid. Save and exit. Save and exit. So if we go back to my tasks, we can see that has already been updated. The fact we can change the rules fairly quickly without having to go and change the class or process makes them really useful. So let's see now how the other rules behave. For this, we're going to go to the teacher process and rules. So, for example, here we have an assignment rule. As we mentioned before, an assignment rule means that we have added a value to it beforehand. We had put a value to the current discount. So if we put this amount here and click on rules, we can see that we have a 10% discount here, and it has been applied to amount. If we go to client discount, we see that it's a calculation rule. So if, for example, we add here 1000 and press in rules, well, it will update the amount, which is now 900. It's taken away the 10% value. Here, we made a calculation with an inference rule too. Okay, we have seen the assignment rule, yeah, when the field has a specific value, a calculation rule, yeah. Now we put something here, takes away this, and it gives us a result. Let's see now how this assignment rule, yeah, depending on what I choose here, I get a result, a different result. And what the calculation rule will do is first apply the current discount, yeah, and then the client discount to get a final amount. So if, for example, we choose A here, yeah, we can see that it has applied this discount, then this one, and we are getting a result. If we change it to category B, yeah, we will get another amount, and if we change it to C, there will be another discount, in this case 10%, and then we will get another result, a different one. In this example, we have seen a textual rule when we change the instruction, an assignment rule, yeah, that was here, when we assign a value to a field, a calculation rule, so depending on this, we will get a different result, and an inference rule that will apply a different discount depending on the category we choose.